Hello, 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 everybody. And on today's episode of Black Geek Energy, look, we got a very special guest, a true multi hyphenate. He is an
Mm.
artist, he is an activist, and he is a creative powerhouse. Their debut single, LP, Evolve, dropped in 2008, and their song I Matter was featured in the award winning 2023 documentary Jimmo and Tim. Did I say that? Jimmo and Tim?
Mel and Tim,
Uh,
and the initial EP is Evo Love.
okay, okay.
Mhm. Mhm.
They are a dedicated activist for Black and queer liberation and prison industrial complex abolition, with boots on the ground experience working on political campaigns in LA. They serve on the leadership team for South LA Pride, which is the largest POC Pride on the West Coast, honey, and recently released a new single, Inceptia. Oh, and they executive produce on two indie games, City of Titans and Hex Heroes. Plus,
Mm.
they're brewing something very special that we'll talk about later. Please welcome the incredible JayBezz to Black Geek Energy. Yay!
Hi,
Yay.
everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. JayBezz here. I am so excited to be here with you guys. Major fan of the cast for a long time, and congratulations on 100
Thank
episodes.
you.
Thank you,
Thank
thank
you.
you, thank you.
I think you're the first guest to come on and say you're a longtime fan. That
Yeah.
I
I'm
have,
shy now. I don't know what to
uh,
say.
Don't be shy, Demarcus. Don't be shy. So, we just want to start off this episode like we start off every episode of Black Geek Energy. How was
Mhm.
your previous week been?
I guess we should start with me since I found the guest.
Oh yeah,
Please.
I'm starting. I'm only talking to you.
This week has been full of challenges. We are living in 2025, but
hmm
um, the weather, I'm coming to you from beautiful Los Angeles. The
Mhm.
weather has, the sky has opened up. It is blue skies, beautiful breezes. The flowers are opening up on all of the spring vegetation. It is
Mhm.
beautiful. So,
Okay.
despite the fact that there is some ugly in the world, all I have to do is look outside my window and see plenty, plenty to
Very
be
nice.
happy and proud of.
Yeah. Well, good that that's happening on the West Coast, but on the East Coast, it is pollen city, honey. Like the
Mm.
pollen count is crazy. I go out and it's like I am trekking through snow because it's like yellow snow everywhere. The pollen count this year has been off the charts. And it's just been crazy. And every time I step outside to like even retrieve my food or go to the mailbox. It's automatic. All of this, I can't sleep at night because my eyes keep itching. So, oh goodness, it's pollen. It's horrible on the
Mm.
East
Mm,
Coast.
mm, mm. Yeah, we ain't got to deal with that on the West Coast.
And I
I've
see.
seen like a sliver of pollen, like when one place maybe.
Wow.
So
Wow. It's crazy out here. It's crazy. But DeMarcus, how's your weekend?
my week has been pretty good. I got a raise at work. No, right? I
Ah!
know. Yeah. And I guess that was like one of the best things that happened. But other than that, it's just been like a really chill week, getting a lot of work done. Um, yeah. Me and my girlfriend are going to a day party after this, so it's gonna be great.
You're going to a day party. What kind of day party?
It's at the end up NSF.
The end of, oh, well, let
No.
me not get into those stories on
Mm,
this podcast,
mm.
but
I mean, you can get into stories. This is that kind of podcast.
Yeah, what's going on at the end
honey,
up?
the end of it, okay, so let me just like briefly. The end was my after hours bar. I used to live in Soma, which is south of Market in San Francisco,
Okay.
and I was the bouncer at one of the premier gay
Mm.
bars out there for a while. And after we close up at about 1:32 a.m. or earlier if we were feeling it, we would all end up at the
Okay.
and many a story, many a like 3 a.m., 4 a.m. kiss, stumbling out, trying to
Mm.
this was when ride shares were first coming out. So
Mm.
like, you know, there used to be like just pools of cars outside of the end up when
Okay.
we would just be arriving. And of course, we were VIP, so we had to go right on in,
Mm.
get ourselves our drinks and mimosas, and the boys always like to follow. So
Okay, okay,
Mm.
okay.
was where it was at, honey.
Where that was the Pied Piper at the end up.
So tell us
Okay.
about your latest single. How is that? What's it
Yeah.
about?
Okay, so Inceptia. So I don't know exactly how I'm branding myself right now, but
Okay.
I call my new like sound political pop,
Mm-hmm.
which it's funny because this song is much more rock. It's something that I was just experimenting with through I want to say like 2022, 2023. Um, it is actually a duet with a artist out of Venezuela named Yozey, and
Okay.
they are one of the most talented guitar players that I've ever really worked with. And I've really been focused on the fight for modernization of the immigration process here in the United
Mm.
States. So
Mm.
working with a Venezuelan artist, Inceptia is really about not waiting for the revolution. I think that we're all in this moment where we're waiting for a leader to come along and say, hey, this is what we're doing. This is what we're fighting for. Follow me. They want the Pied Piper, as it were.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But you are the revolution you've been waiting for. So the chorus of the song is just, I ain't waiting for tomorrow. I'm not waiting for you. I'm not waiting for anything to come and give me that Inceptia that
Mhm.
would start a revolution. I'm the spark I've been waiting for. You are the spark that you've been waiting for. And honestly, and I say this without reservation, I think it is some of my most powerful work to date. So
Okay.
That
Okay.
sounds
Okay.
dope. Is that on Spotify? Can I go like listen to it?
it is on Spotify. It is on all streaming
Okay.
locations. JayBezz and Yozey, Yozey. I think it's a Z. Uh, Inceptia, please have it a listen. This is actually one of the first places I'm going to be promoting it, so it's somewhat of an exclusive for Black
Oh,
Geek Energy.
nice. I love that. I love that.
Yay.
We're exclusive here.
Okay, okay,
You
okay.
said political pop. It sounds self-explanatory, but can you explain what that is?
I mean, all art is political. I believe that whenever you're putting your vision of the world out there in art, it
Hmm.
has a point of view, and that point of view cannot be divorced from race, at least in the
Mm.
United States. It cannot be
Hmm.
divorced from gender and sex identity. It can't be
Hmm.
divorced from who you are. And when you're telling the world, this is how I see the world, it comes with a point of view. And so I, Janet Jackson's Rhythm Nation 1814, Michael
Hmm.
Jackson, They Don't Care About Us, um, Angela Davis going back to the funk days of just like women's liberation. Like Black music has always been political, but I
Hmm.
really lean into it and say these are the issues of the day, like immigration, like police and prison. Some people say reform, I say abolition. Um, uh, like dealing with queer liberation. Like right now, we are in this moment where trans people are literally being attacked daily
Mm-hmm.
for their identity, and people who are trying to affirm that are even being, released from their jobs and having to fight literally for rights that if we made it through 2008 or,
Right.
when we got legalization of queer marriage, we thought that we were finally, making some progress, but there is no progress that uh, does not have two steps forward and a step back. So,
Hmm.
um, when I say political pop, like Inceptia, it is much more ambiguous, but the single I did before this was with another Venezuelan immigrant artist.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
And it's called Hit 'em with the Love. And it is directly talking about the vitriol that a lot of here in California, there was a lot of stories about specifically Chinese immigrants that were
Hmm.
being attacked and dealing with literal physical violence just for being Chinese. And me and the artist, his name's Angel Perilli, we came up with this. Angel's a DJ, and we came up with this idea of like, why are they hitting them? Why can't they just hit them with love? Like, these are people who are literally doing jobs that are holding up our economy, which is a
Right.
whole nother thing. These are people who
Hmm.
are literally holding up the values of America sometimes stronger than Americans do. People who have to go and literally fight for their citizenship, who have to go test themselves for citizenship. I know I probably couldn't pass that test in the way that others could.
Exactly.
Um, and so hit him with the love was like, one, keep your hands to yourself. Why are we hitting immigrants? But also, if you're going to if you're going to impact someone, hit them,
Hmm.
then let it be with love, let it be with compassion, let it be with dance. Oh my God, it's a fun dance track. I
Yeah.
love
Okay.
working with DJs. DJs always bring the oons, oons,
Oots,
oons.
oots.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, yes, yes. And being any type of political activist is very, I know that that can be very trying on you emotionally with all the feedback you get, negative feedback that you get. But I do know that you also don't use any of the meta platform. Like, okay, Demarcus, I gotta tell you, we talked for about 4 hours when we first met. It was a long late night conversation where we just talked about comics, D&D,
Mm.
Marvel, everything. We went all the way around the world. And one of the interesting things that you said was you weren't on any of the meta platforms, that you weren't doing any of the Amazons anymore. So like, how has life been post Meta and Amazon?
Okay, so as somebody who is an activist, I try to live my values whenever possible.
Hmm.
And that has really led myself to questioning my digital footprint.
Hmm.
Um, I was off of Facebook. I think I've been off of Facebook for almost 10 years now.
Hmm.
And that's all meta platforms. That's Instagram, Facebook. I don't even use what is the
What's that?
Cash App.
Okay,
Like
okay, okay.
all of Meta's products, I just they are selling our digital data. They are making money
Hmm.
off of us being on their platform. And I
Right.
said, is that money being used to my benefit or to my detriment? And
Mm.
if the answer to that is it's going to my detriment, then I just refuse to participate, at least socially. Now, commercially, like I do, run businesses. I do have different projects that I put on platforms
Hmm.
for exposure to get out there. And I feel like, okay, if I'm using the platform to sell something or just to get awareness out about something that I want a larger audience for, sure, I will commercially use that product for those. But for my personal data, no, ma'am. I don't need people
Mm.
looking me up in that way. I don't. It's not only do I not want people to have access to me in that way, but the companies themselves, the 2024 election was a real wake-up call for people to understand how their data can be used for them or against them, because the data is being given to these platforms. I don't think
Hmm.
anybody really understood that the secondary president was going to own outright an entire platform and say, we're just going to flood the zone with misinformation. We're going to literally amplify these messages of um, bigotry, supremacy, um, and think that that isn't going to have a literal political effect. I think that a lot of people's baser instincts, lesser angels as they were, came
Hmm.
out and were encouraged to come out, because the fish rots from the head. When the head of a company says we're going to allow this kind of um, discourse, I'll
Right.
say, then of course people are going to come out and engage in that kind of discourse. And um, specifically for, I'm not on any Meta, I don't use any X or Twitter, whatever you call it, products. I don't use, you won't find me on it, but I am on a beautiful platform, Spill. I know that you guys, I
Yes.
found you guys there.
Mm.
I
Mm-hmm.
use Fanbase for a lot of projects because, again, I always love supporting Black owned. I'm not a capitalist in that way, but if I'm going to support anything, it's going to be Black capitalism over over anything. Like,
Yeah.
it's not the answer, but
Mm.
it's a band-aid. So I'm willing to use that band-aid as opposed to continually harming with with giving giving power to my enemy.
Right.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just
And
don't do that.
And Spill is such a beautiful platform when you go on there, just like a lot of people being happy, a lot of
Hmm.
Black people being happy, a lot of Black people having fun and
Yes.
showing themselves and uh, communicating with each other positively. So it's such a beautiful platform. I love Spill.
I
Yeah.
love spell.
Oh, I need to try Spill then.
Yeah.
These are raving recommendations. I really applaud you, JBS, for like living your values. I like the way you put it because I have been trying to like stop buying from Amazon, but then I realized like I still use my Amazon Prime to like shop at Whole Foods, and I still like watch Amazon Prime TV. So
Mm.
yeah, it's I applaud it because I'm trying to do it and it's hard, especially because like Facebook is so and Meta is so ubiquitous at this point. Like
Mhm.
there are things that I can only sign into through Facebook.
Yeah. Yeah.
Control that has over where you have access though as well.
Hmm.
Like it's such a double-edged sword because yes, they make it convenient, but it's also a monopoly.
Hmm.
They, when you try to make the decision to leave, as I did 10 years ago, it was hard. It was like,
Mm.
oh my gosh, how am I going to get in touch with these family members? How am I going to get in
Hmm.
touch with these alumni? How am I going to get in
Hmm.
touch with all of these different networks, social networks that I had in real life? But the only way I communicated with them was on this platform. And I was like, I don't want them to own all my chats with these people that matter to me in my real life. So to each their own, to each their digital footprint, but Mark Zuckerberg ain't never been a friend of mine. He ain't paid us no
Mine
money.
either.
No. So, and same with Elon, same with Jack Dorsey. I was so disappointed when Tidal got sold to Jack Dorsey.
Mm.
Um, I can support Jay-Z and creating such a wonderful platform like Tidal, but then if you're just going, sell out, I didn't mean to use that word because they're going to come for me. But if you're going to sell your platform to Jack Dorsey, who also sold Twitter to Elon,
Yeah.
then I don't have consumer confidence that that's where I want to put my data. That's where I want to participate digitally.
Hmm.
No, that's fair. That's
Yeah.
fair.
So next week, Demarcus is going to Coachella,
Hey, I'm gonna be in
and
LA. Yeah.
this
Well,
is your first Coachella, right?
my first cello.
And you
Yeah.
are camping out.
Yeah, that's the part I'm like not so sure about. I'm not a camper. I was born and raised in Atlanta, city kid through and through. I got family that live in the country and stuff, but like we go to the house, we go fishing, we go back inside. And I don't like my problem with camping is like I pay too much money to have a comfortable home and a roof over my head to sleep outside for free. Why am I struggling for free?
But then it's also you're gonna be camping out with a whole bunch of drugged up white people.
Yeah, but they say they got showers and they have like some accommodations. So, and JBS, the space you're making
I
it's making
cannot
me
help
lose
it.
confidence.
So I've actually not been to Coachella. I'm just
Oh.
going back to my Burning Man experience where I was like,
Mm.
Mm.
recommendations. I was like, girl. But no, I think you're gonna have a great time, and especially if you're a music lover, and
Mhm.
I it is one of those few venues that still really does try to celebrate music and art,
Mhm.
and yes, it's really commercialized, but
Absolutely,
I
yeah.
think about all the artists and platforms that have been put on by Coachella, so I know you're gonna have like blast.
Yes, I'm excited. I'm excited. And after this one, I was talking to my girlfriend, and I was like, "Have you ever done like a both Coachella, like go to Coachella 2 weekends in a row?" So if this one is really great, maybe I'll do that like another year.
Mm. Okay, okay.
Mhm.
Well, good luck. Good luck. Okay, so now is the time that we have our put you on segment. We usually put our listeners onto something in podcasts and TV and movies and books and any
Mhm.
form of media that comes our way. So, so, and this segment is brought to us by Movie Pass. Demarcus, can you
Yes.
tell our listeners about Movie Pass?
Always. So MoviePass is a subscription-based service that allows you to watch multiple movies in theaters for a monthly fee. It's the whole premise is to make movie going more affordable, more accessible to the average guys like me. Jared JayBezz is a superstar, so he can go to the movies whenever he wants. But for us mere mortals, you sign up for MoviePass, you pay your money, they send you a MasterCard where you can use it to purchase your movie tickets with a number of credits you get based on the tier that you sign up for. I used to have it at the lowest tier for like $10 a month, and you got like 24 credits, and you can stretch that to like 2 or 3 movies depending on where you go, when you go to the
Mhm.
movie. Yeah. So
Yeah,
it's amazing. You should try it if you haven't. And yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's
Superstars use Movie Pass too, honey.
I mean, it's the best thing ever. My fingers are waiting to purchase for Sinners this weekend for
Yeah.
Movie Pass. Like, that is the number, like, the hype around that movie is crazy. And the hype from all Black people is crazy. So,
Mhm, mhm.
I'm excited for that. But what I want to put you on to this week is another movie that I just saw using my movie pass called The Woman in Black. It was
Okay.
a fantastic horror tale about grief, about depression, um, and yeah, it was. So you have this Black family who just lost a father. Is
Woman in the Yard.
woman in the yard, woman in the yard.
Yeah.
No,
I'm
Woman
like,
in Black.
I'm so horrible at this. So you have this family who is just reeling from the loss of their father figure, and yeah, they're going through a lot. They're going through a lot when they discover that on in their yard is a woman who is sitting in a chair all clad in black. And she continuously inches up closer every time they look. And
Mm.
this was a very exciting um picture. This was a very moving picture. But the one thing I have to say that really irked me was that kids are so bad nowadays. If your mama is limping because she got in an accident and she has to wear crutches and she is telling you don't go near that woman in the yard. Ho, don't go near the woman in the yard like your mama told you. This child was talking back. This
Hey,
child
yo.
was calling his mama the B word, and then she would be like, exactly, exactly. And then he would be like, what you just called me? And he would say, oh, I wasn't saying you were. I was saying that you acted like one. I was like, boy,
What's
if
the
you
difference?
don't.
What's the difference? Because you getting the same ass whooping.
That
Yeah.
part 100.
Yes, yes, yes. So yeah, I really had a fun time, and it
Okay.
really dealt with some good themes. So yeah, go
JayBezz,
see
have you
The
seen the movie
Woman in
too?
the
Have you seen
Yard.
The Woman in the
I
Yard?
have not. I am so excited to see this film.
Mm-hmm.
I just first off, I love Black centered storytelling.
Hmm.
And The Woman in the Yard, I am not a horror
Mm.
movie goer. I have
Same.
such a singular fight instead of a fight or flight response. I literally have a fight response. And I went to see, oh my God, my best friend's gonna be so mad at me for telling this story. I went to go see I Am Legend with my very, very best friend,
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
and I was in such a fight, not flight mode that when we left that movie, I barked at him as if like I was a dog and another dog was across the street. I was like, "Ugh." I was just so
Oh
amped up. My
no.
anxiety gets to such a point on horror movies that I either have to watch them alone or
Hmm.
with a man that happens to be bigger than me that makes me feel like if somebody's there who I can feel like it's like protecting me, I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm
Mhm,
cool. I'm
mhm.
cool. But if I feel like it's just me in the world, I'm like, let's go.
Yeah.
But
So,
yeah, I'm so excited to see Woman in the Yard, but
mm.
it will either be alone or, with somebody I met at the gym.
Mm, mm.
So,
I ain't
is there
mad at you.
anything that you want to put our listeners onto this week?
You know what? Yes, and it's right behind me. This is The Reckoning. I
Okay.
don't know if you can see it really well.
Mhm.
This book I actually got from the Smithsonian African American Museum when I went just before the election. I was there for over Thanksgiving, and this book it's called Reckoning: Protest, Defiance, and Resilience.
Okay.
It shows all of the exhibits that I got to see there. And with
Mm,
the political environment that's going on right now, I want to encourage everyone in the DMV, specifically in the DC area, go support the Smithsonian African
Hmm.
American History Museum because, first off, it's phenomenal. It is
Hmm.
like literally like our history. Sometimes people don't know our history, but like we know our history a lot of times, but to see it in one place and celebrated and highlighted and I went to see it with my family and like in tears from, learning about as an abolitionist, learning about Angola and all of the lives that were imprisoned there and enslaved there, which
mhm,
is still a dark history of Louisiana, all the way to the celebration of music. Billie Holiday, Janet Jackson, they have everything there for you to kind of see and hold on to. And of course, it was right before the election, so it was beautiful to see my president, Ms. Kamala
mm,
Harris. Uh,
Exactly.
uh, highlighted there as well. There's an entire place there about women's political movement and how Black women have really set the stage for everything from suffrage to abolition to uh, enfranchisement of the vote to foreign policy. Like it's so wonderful, beautiful. I recommend it to everyone. And if you can't make it to the museum, and you're not in the DC area, I do recommend going to their website and picking up this wonderful fat book. It's got
Hmm.
all the exhibits with amazing
Oh,
commentary.
okay.
I don't know if you see, it's kind of glazed over because of my lighting. But I absolutely live for this book. I actually have been reading the 1619 Project along with looking back and forth to this book, and it has been one of the most impactful um, experiences of my like literary life. Like reading about the impacts of enslavement in the Americas, and then being able to look at this book and remember all of those exhibits that I saw from 1619 all the way to 2025 or 2024
mhm.
has been it's eye-opening. I think just like people say, like when you're going to your doctor, you find out your medical history because it tells you, you know, all of the myriad of things that could be happening inside of your body. And so inside of our body politic, it is so good to look at that medical history, to look at what diseases America has had to fight and hopefully overcome. But just because, you get over a cold doesn't mean that cold's not coming back.
Right.
You got to learn how to inoculate yourself and hopefully find real remedies, find real cures, find real um uh what is the thing that our human health and human services doesn't like? Vaccines. Find
Oh.
the
Yes.
real vaccine
Mhm.
for the problem. So I recommend to anyone who is in Virginia or Alexandria, anywhere in the DC area, in the DMV
Hmm.
area, please support the Smithsonian African American History Museum in Washington, DC. And if you haven't been, I'm telling you, it is transformative. It's a transformative exhibit and experience. So
Yeah,
that's
especially
all I'll put.
because Trump is now
Right.
trying to limit funding to that museum. So I don't think I'll be able to make it, but I see that book and I did write it down. So
Hmm.
I'm gonna have to go ahead and get that book before it's pulled off the shelves from a dictator. So yeah. All right, Demarcus, do you have anything to put us on to for this week?
Um, I don't really. Well, I did finish watching Castlevania Nocturne
Okay.
this past week, and it is amazing. Like the animation is amazing,
Mm-hmm.
the story's great,
Mm-hmm.
the fight scenes are great. Um, like the character growth is amazing. That's one thing I always go in for, and I always mention if a show has like great character growth, if I can see the characters develop, it's I'm in love. Like the girl who like summons different animals, like the fact that like her mood or her like where she was in her life sort of like changed the way her summons look, and then she had to like kind of figure out how to like change them back and to like harness them in a new way. I loved it. I
Yeah.
loved it. I loved it. I loved it. And the story in Castlevania Nocturne centers around Richter, which is like one of Trevor Belmont's descendants. If you watch like the first Castlevania series, Alucard is still there, but he looks like a lot more pretty. You know, it's cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, Castlevania Nocturne. If you haven't watched this on Netflix, go ahead and check it out.
Yeah. And I really recommend it because the girl that Demarcus is talking about, she has a very Haitian type of background. So we're
Mm,
dealing with Creole, and
hmm
she comes from a very, very, very black family. And they also go into a lot of Egyptian type of mythology and how that intersects with the
hmm
story they're trying to tell. And one of the main um, characters, one of the main villains, is this beautiful, fabulous black woman who
Yes.
is,
Honey.
yes, and she has like two or three transformations, and
hmm
she is just going off. I was actually rooting for her to win
Yeah.
because she is so amazing. She just has everything. So I really like that as well. But yeah,
She was a good villain too. Like every time she showed up, I was like, "Oh, she wrecking shop."
yeah,
Like you had a plan, but when she showed up,
yeah.
yeah.
My favorite character in Nocturne was the singer. They have this
Mm.
beautiful operatic I think a lot of people consider this like a side character, but to me, they were the most transformative growth that I got to see in
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
throughout the whole series because they were one of the few spoiler spoiler alert. They were one of the few people who changed very outwardly, but
Mm-hmm.
inwardly were able to maintain a large part of their soul. And I think by doing that through music, through song, through art, was such a powerful message to me. Because like summoners have never been my favorite class of any game. Even like being like a metalsmith as the black character was, like all of those were great to see visually and the fight scenes were
Yeah.
amazing. But every time I heard this character sing, it really reminded me of the power of music and
Mm-hmm.
Right.
song and art. So I don't even remember that character's name, but and then even as they were turned into a creature, they still had this beauty, this grace, this poise.
Yes.
I was like, this world is turning me into a creature, but I have to
Yeah.
maintain my grace, my poise, my
Yes.
purpose, even throughout it. So I love that series.
Yeah.
Great choice, DeMarcus.
Yeah. I don't
Yeah.
want to. Yeah, I want to keep talking about it, but I don't want to spoil no more. Like I love this show. It's definitely gonna be one of those like I watch it like every year.
Yeah. Yeah. He was another black character. And just to give y'all a little Jardo trivia, my dorm mate from Hampton actually works on that show.
Shut
So
up.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Somebody?
I know somebody. I know somebody. All right, Demarcus, do we have an activity for today?
We absolutely have an activity, Jared.
Uh-oh.
And though for those joining us for the first time, the way the games and activities go on Black Geek Energy is DeMarcus is the game master. He makes up the games, he makes the
Mm.
rules, he decides the winners, the losers, right answers, wrong answers, everything. Today's game is no winners, no losers. This is just a game for fun.
Okay.
And we're gonna and this is this or that. Uh I had a little blurb here. All right. Is it this or that? Nope. It's what you about to do. That's what this game is called. What you about to do? This is a fun game where we can play with no winner, no loser. Basically, it's would you rather.
Okay.
All right. And Jared told me that you are big into D&D, JayBezz. So it is a D&D themed today.
Oh no. Okay.
Okay. So number one, and both of you get to answer both.
Okay.
And I have like 10, but we'll see how much time we take in these answers. All right. So number one, would you rather have mage hand at will, but it's always visible and extremely smug? Think like Thing from the Addams Family.
Oh, okay.
Or be able to cast prestidigitation, but it always smells like rotten eggs.
Uh, Mage Hand is definitely more useful, but I'm gonna go with prestidigitation because not everybody can smell. And honestly, you can always see smells. I'm a very visual artist too. So,
Yeah.
like your nose gonna have to suffer.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
There are
Ah,
so many more applications that you can do with prestidigitation. Like you can turn out the lights, you can make stuff taste like something else. You
but it's
can
gonna stink every time.
okay. I, I
I
would
don't know.
I mean, but prestidigitation, you can also like make other smells. So I don't know. I would rather have prestidigitation too than just get me that from over there and have
I
some visible hand in my room with me.
mhm. I would choose the mage hand. Like I don't care if it's smug because I feel like I'm a little smug and I feel like we would really get along. Like both of us being assholes and we making shit happen. But always visible. I don't know. Can I cast like another mage hand like normally that is invisible?
Hmm.
Well, maybe.
Okay. Number two. Uh Unlimited cantrips, but you can never learn a spell above first level, or only ever be able to cast ninth level spells, but once per year. What you about to do?
I ain't gonna do nothing once per year, so I'll stick with level one spell.
Yeah,
No problem there. Like variety is my spice.
right. I think that's like one of the weirdest mechanics in D&D. They be like, oh, like once you do this, you can't do it for a week. I'm like, a week? Like what?
We
How do
can
I keep up with that in game time? Like I'm
exactly.
not gonna remember. Does this campaign even last a week?
Oh my
Right.
god.
And
Uh
finding the use for that, whatever the spell is. I mean, even if it's ninth level, like everybody wants to have that moment where they're like, Kamehameha or whatever they're doing. But
Spirit
like
bomb.
if I can do it once a week, I'm like, I'm just gonna wait. I'm just gonna hobble around and wait till the final boss and then get my little moment. Like, no, ma'am. No. I'm
Yeah,
gonna have something going on in between.
yeah.
uh, a limited cantrip sounds good, but I feel that you could cast what's that spell that makes a clone of yourself?
Simulacrum.
Simulacrum. And then that simulacrum could then cast all the spells that I would want to.
Could it? Because it's just a copy of you, and if you can only cast ninth level spells, it can only cast ninth level spells.
No, 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 no. You said that I only have the restriction, not things that come from me. So words in the book, the
You
player's
splitting hairs, but
handbook.
okay.
You
You
right,
know.
I am. So I would do a wish, make a simulacrum, and then I could then have my limited cantrips. I would make him create me some money. I
Mm,
would I would only see I could only bring him out for emergencies because simulacrums can't regenerate their spell slots.
mm.
But so I could only bring him out for emergencies. But yes, I would cast simulacrum. I would put him in the closet, and whenever I needed him,
Put them in the closet.
yeah, I would.
Man,
I
let
would
that man
bring him
out.
out.
Let that man be himself.
Keeping nobody in the closet, not in 2025, honey.
Oh my
I
goodness.
I'm I, I'm with JayBezz. I like variety. Like how many ninth level spells are there in the D&D? There are a lot of cantrips though. I know that. So
Yeah.
I need to be able to do different shit.
So would you be able to cast unlimited cantrips throughout, like Druid?
It sounds like unlimited. I don't know.
Yeah, unlimited. All of them. All the
Okay.
cantrips. All right. Let's see. We have like a spicier one. All right. Vecna appears in your dreams with a terrible offer.
Okay.
Become Vecna's undead apprentice and eventually replace him,
Mm.
or kill him yourself and become the number one target of every evil cult in the multiverse. What you about to do?
Well, they both have the same ending. If
I think well, I mean, it depends. But I definitely am leaning towards becoming their apprentice because
Wow.
I don't like this is such a like abolitionist thing. Like appropriation of power or like trying to sidle up to power is such a trope that people who try to do it always fail.
mm,
Mm,
In my D&D experience, I'm like, I'm the exception. I am the hero that can absolutely do the thing that is impossible to everyone else. But no, I would definitely become the apprentice because
mhm,
there's one thing I've learned about taking on large systems of oppression is you have to understand how they work and where they
mm,
came from. And you can't do that without a like a face-to-face tete-a-tete knowledge transfer. And I think the only way to get that is going straight to the source. So
okay.
if you want to know the weakness of the Death Star, you've got to be with the engineer. So,
mm.
Okay.
But you will
I
also be undead.
equally, you're making a sacrifice. So, if I've got to make a sacrifice, I at least want to know that I have the knowledge. And if I have the knowledge, hopefully, I have the ability of uh, self-sabotaging, which I always do, and telling a good hero how to come and kill me.
Okay.
okay.
You
Okay.
know?
Because you had me worried for a second because you were like, oh, you said it so quickly. I'm like, oh, I'll become the apprentice to an evil god. And I'm like, that sounds like it goes so against everything you were telling us before. Like abolitionist fighting.
You're up and everything. Like either way, you're gonna have consequences, right? And either way, people are gonna come for you
Yeah.
because of your position. And I think specifically Vecna, it's one of those characters that you really finding out their motivations. It's so difficult because everybody's campaign is different and everybody's
Mhm.
ideas of their motivation is different. And for me to have that like tete-a-tete moment where I'm like, I get you in a way that a lot of people never would is probably one of the greatest weaknesses that you could give to Vecna as a like complete level
Mhm.
unbeatable, character. And
Just give them an understanding.
you've got to know your enemy to defeat them. And
Mm.
sometimes I would never, I don't think I would actually do it in a campaign of my own because I know that like it's too easy for me to imagine becoming a villain in almost any of my characters.
Same.
Okay, yeah. I would also choose to be Vecna's apprentice. Because it just feels more streamlined than having to deal with every evil cult in the multiverse. I'm like, I would get tired of that so fast. Even if I knew I could beat them, I'm like, all right, y'all need to figure out something to do with y'all lives.
Period.
I I would go the other route. What's the other option again?
You kill Vecna, yeah, and you become the number one target of every evil cult in the multiverse.
Yeah, I would have to kill him because either way, you would be the target of every hero group in the multiverse. So I have to kill him. I'm not gonna be mopping up after Vecna every night.
As his apprentice, because who
Yes,
knows?
as his apprentice.
You bring up a good point, because who knows how long you're gonna have to be his apprentice? Because he is undead.
Exactly, exactly. That's the only thing.
All right.
But if you kill him, do you have the knowledge to even defend against all of the other evils? And I
Hmm.
mean, power vacuums are real. You're
Yeah.
Yeah.
creating a power vacuum that you think that you're equipped to handle without any apprenticeship, without any
Hmm.
otherwise knowledge. I don't know. Like I'm a long-term strategist, and I'm like,
Mm,
I got to know some things before I make a move I can't come back from.
yeah. Yeah, that's the only thing. I probably would not be equipped for the multiverse. But I mean, I would have a few good days. 2 good weeks is all I need.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna do one more. Let's see. You're sneaking through a dungeon and trigger a cursed magical trap. You hear a voice that says, "Choose your punishment."
Hmm.
You have disadvantage on all stealth checks for a month, or permanently glow faintly in the dark. What you about to do?
Disadvantage on stealth checks. Disadvantage on stealth checks.
For a month?
Yeah.
You know,
Permanently low.
yeah.
Jared cannot come to a consensus on this.
And aren't
But
y'all
no,
playing
I mean,
D&D
like,
together?
right? No, like I shine in every space anyway. So,
Hmm.
it's only right that that be part of my character permanently throughout the but does it paint a target? Absolutely, but superstars are meant to shine.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think I would also choose the glow because I just feel like it would be more useful than like just sneaking around in the dark. Like, you put me in a dark dungeon, I'm like, hey, I can see. I don't need dark vision no more.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking sometimes I like to be in the total darkness.
Mm,
So I don't want to give that up.
fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that was the game. That was what you
Yeah.
about to do. Fun, easy, no, no competition. Just having a great time. Talking D&D. Um, JayBezz, can you tell me about you and your D&D game that Jared is in?
No, 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 it's not D&D.
It's not
See,
D&D.
no,
What is it?
I didn't tell DeMarcus
Oh, you didn't
everything
tell
about it.
DeMarcus any of
Nope.
the oh my
Mm-mm,
gosh.
I didn't tell him.
So I am producing. So, House of Bezz Original Productions is my like media production house company. It's where I release my music. It's where I
Mm-hmm.
do different published like articles and things like that. And we are producing a game of Marvel Multiverse role-playing game. It is a brand new
Ooh.
RPG from Marvel, released 2024 or 2023 into
Mm.
2023. 2024 was their first year. It is their longest running and highest selling role-playing game to date. It has every character that you can think of and
Mm-hmm.
every character that you can create.
Mm.
And I'm so excited about this tabletop role. Like we're do we're doing it big. We've
Okay.
got a all black cast.
Mm-hmm.
We are bringing original characters to the Marvel multiverse. We are going to
Okay.
be taking on some of the toughest known villains in Marvel.
Okay.
We are a brand new squad. I'm so excited for viewers to get to know these characters. I'm so excited to continue to play these characters. And we have an amazing game master who is a D&D aficionado, a
Mm.
published D&D game creator, Neo Soul God. If you guys have, I want to definitely put them on. If you guys have any experience in D&D, Neo Soul God is also the creator of the Night Skins,
Mm-hmm.
which is a race and full of a subclass of I think 12. I think they follow the Zodiac. So it's got
Mm.
a full list of amazing, amazing additional characters that actually was born out of a racist trope from D&D players who were like, these night skins. And I'm like, I'm so proud to have Neo as a game master for our game. Jared is gracing us with an amazing original character. I don't want to give anything away of theirs.
Hmm.
But I'm telling you guys, it is going to be such a fun journey. I cannot wait to share it with Black Geek Energy. If you guys will indulge us, we
Oh,
will have a lot
absolutely.
more to share soon. As a matter of fact,
Uh, uh,
go ahead. I'm gonna pull something up on my
uh,
little handy dandy notepad here.
Okay.
okay,
Okay.
okay.
So, so
If please the court.
It pleases the court. It pleases the court. But yes, my character, of course you already know he's a mutant. Of course you already know. Because
mm,
you can make literally anything. And if you don't want to make something comes with like this plethora of pre Marvel made all the skins for like everybody from Kingpin to Storm to Captain America to um, Black Cat, like every character that you can imagine. I'm sure that Aunt May is even in the characters that
that's
they
the front
have.
door.
Yes, and like they have every single character that you can think of that you can literally play in this game. So it's very, very in depth, and I'm just so excited to be a part of this because let me tell you. I have looked at some of the live plays because I'm trying to figure out how to play this game and what to do.
Hmm. Hmm.
Child, these live plays so boring. these,
What?
yes, these other live plays are just, I can do a live play. I've been watching Critical Role for years and years and
Hmm.
years, decades now. So yeah, these live plays, I just couldn't get it. They were talking about farts, and I'm like, what? you
I
know,
know what you're talking about.
exactly. So I just need to. First of all, I didn't make it all the way through that one,
Mm.
but I just need for there to be a different tone when we are doing these things,
Hmm.
this live play, and I think that when we are when we're making this, I'm happy, so happy that me and JayBezz have come together, and he said, "Well, you need to be a part of this." So, and I'm happy that we're going to actually make a live play for this Marvel role playing experience, and I'm so nobody knows how excited I am but me.
Okay. And this is just called Marvel role playing. Marvel.
Marvel Multiverse role-playing game.
hmm
Oh.
It's available on every platform. We're going to be using Demiplane and Roll20 Virtual Tabletop.
Hmm.
They have been amazing supporters of this product. They are actually the official Marvel uh, Marvel digital asset, licensed
Okay.
place. If anybody is interested in this game, please go check marvel.com/RPG and you can get all the details. There's lots of stuff that's free there. If you want to start creating a character, I do recommend that you go find yourself on Demiplane. It's called Marvel Nexus on Demiplane. They have lots of games on Demiplane. There's
hmm
so many, including edition of D&D. It makes everything just a little bit easier, a little bit more digestible for you. The
Hmm.
character creation is literally it's more video game almost than a tabletop game because they really do make it so that as you create your character, the sheet adjusts itself for you.
Oh,
It
hmm
also
nice.
does dice rolls in the game. It's going to be so much fun and it's going
Yeah.
to save us so much time while we're playing to just enjoy our role play as opposed to having to math everything, like the
hmm
math of
Mm.
I'm sure a lot of the actual plays that you've watched, Jared, have just been like, okay, and how much is that? And
Yeah.
what is that? You're like,
Right.
Demiplane and Roll20, they really have made this integrated experience that is going to be coming out for most people, most likely in like late April, May, but we have access to it. We are going to have such a fun and black and geeky experience.
Yay.
And with our amazing GM, with our amazing cast, I think you guys are all in for a treat. And if I may, Jared, I have your final artwork back from our amazing artist. His name is Eric S. I will provide you guys a link if you guys will be so kind to promote his art.
Okay.
This is the PNG of
Ooh.
Oh,
Look at
Jared
Jared.
me.
out here.
Look at
Getting
Swole.
get
me.
I'm so excited for Jared's character. I've gotten a little bit of a preview, as a producer, so I'm trying to like keep it. But we are doing it Marvel style,
Okay.
superheroes saving the world in all of our melanin and all of our geekness. And I mean, we have the entire history of Marvel 616 Ultimate
hmm
Universe.
Mm.
Everything that you can pull from, we are going to be allowed to pull from because Marvel has been so amazing at releasing this product and allowing creators like myself to do these actual plays. So I'm really, really excited. This is a project that I really hope gets a wide audience, especially because I've not seen a lot of melanated players really
Hmm.
take to this game yet. And black tabletop role play is such a joy. Like there's such
Yeah.
a cultural experience that comes in it. And I've seen you guys as D&D campaign wrap ups as well. It's like
Yeah.
it's different experience, but it's also so rewarding.
Yeah, absolutely. And The only thing I hate is just how hard it is to get black people to the table to take the conversation.
Oh
But
no. Jay is like you had to sign a contract. You had no, Jay ain't playing that stuff. Jay is
Mhm.
like, no, you said you're gonna do it, then you gonna do it, or else I'm got the legal team coming after you.
Mhm.
Okay, now you're gonna make everybody think that. Well, I mean, facts are facts. So no, it is gonna be never let the legal get in the way of the good. But
Right.
Yes.
it's going to be such a fun experience.
Hmm.
I think one of the main things that we wanted to do at House of Bez was really be able to showcase what Black storytelling can be and is all about.
Mhm.
And it's a small piece of joy that we get to do every couple of weeks to tell our stories and to
Hmm.
give life to our own characters.
Mhm.
And we are creating a space that's queer affirming. We're creating a space that is pro-black, pro pro liberation, and we're creating these characters that can literally take on things that we fight in our everyday lives,
Yeah.
that we don't necessarily always have the agency to fight in our everyday lives.
Mhm.
So it's going to be a great time. I look forward to sharing everything with Black Geek Energy. You guys are amazing, and trust me, Jared's bringing it. I don't know if everybody who watches the cast knows, but Jared's bringing it because he's giving me
Yeah.
feeding me life.
So
All
right.
right.
So let me just ask you, I did have to do a small little promo thing, and it was so fun to embody this character and what I was envisioning him to be. But JayBezz, I just want to ask, when you heard my little promo, what did you think?
Honey, okay. I'm try How can I do this without spoiling everyone? Jared is such an amazing role player. I feel like so much of who Jared is comes through in the character, but also uh life is somebody who really brings a history of mutantdom, which obviously in the game I wanted to pull as much from Marvel as we could. So they obviously know, like, as a mutant, which, I mean, come on. Did we expect Jared to play anything besides a mutant?
Right.
But as a mutant, they know, like, the history. They know Krakoa, they know Utopia, they know
Ooh.
Genosha, they know. So they've been around the block. They are powerful and have been um really, and another thing that I really loved is that Jared's character is really setting themselves in this kind of I see a juxtaposition between them and Peter Parker because they are also a student at Emporia State. They have this, like, I'm giving so much away. They have this like joy that comes through, but also this dangerous side that it's like, as a mutant who's been through it all and seen it all, Jared is bringing this character to life in a way that really puts a pin into the black experience of, like, if I were really powerful, this is what you're gonna get. And I'm not
Mm.
holding myself back. And I'm so excited
Mm.
for fans of Black Geek Energy to really see Jared bring this to a whole nother level. We're levels on levels on levels.
Okay,
Mm.
cool. So we finna see Jared steal because that's what Jared always says he would do if he had superpowers. So thievery.
The
Thievery.
thievery.
Basically,
Wow.
joining the Thieves Guild with Gambit.
No, no, no. This sounds amazing. Where can we watch it? Is it
It will be okay. So we are doing a couple different kinds of exclusives. We are going to be streaming live on Neo Soul God,
oh,
uh, their Twitch channel. So if you want to see the live, unedited performances, we are welcoming
mm,
everyone over to that channel so they can watch there.
Mhm.
But the produced, like, post-production version will be
mhm,
available on YouTube and other streaming platforms. We're trying to license it out some other places. That's all the paperwork.
Mhm.
But look out for it. I will
right.
Mhm.
just say, if you're on Discord, we also have a fan Discord that is set up now. I will give you guys a link in
Mhm.
Right.
today's video. So if you're interested in Marvel Multiverse role-playing game and want a absolutely melanated experience, please come join us. Our we're doing it big. We're doing it as big as I can.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
And I'm not Dimension 20, but House of Bez got your back.
Yeah.
You know,
Not yet.
Not yet.
yet,
But I
yet.
definitely got a link to that Discord, so I can go ahead and put that link in the description along with all other stuff. And don't be scared about me spoiling something because this is going to come out in 3 weeks, and I'm sure that something will be, well, maybe something will be done within 3 weeks. Probably the first episode, maybe.
We've got promos to do. We've got the first episode, girl. We doing it big. We doing it big. Like it will. I'm so excited for everyone to be a part of this experience. Uh, our cast is very diverse, even
Mm-hmm.
in the Black experience. We're coming from Atlanta, Los Angeles, New Orleans, Tennessee. We've got like a true Black diaspora of character work, of
Mm.
and I don't want to give too much away, but we are creating a super team that I think it's a super team I've always wanted to see Marvel make, but they've always been too afraid to put in a book. So we will give fans of Marvel a truly melanated Black experience that hopefully will run a few seasons. We'll see how it
Yeah.
goes.
And then in 5 years, y'all will have a show, just like Critical Role did.
We're out
Now,
here.
one word, because you are kind of behind the scenes as well. So, one word of how you think our team will mesh together.
Hmm. That is such a good one word. There's got to be a word that means action. Phonetically.
Okay.
I feel that with the diversity of like our power sets and our actual characters' introspective points of view, I don't think there's gonna be a whole lot of like dull moments. It's gonna give much more of a kinetic, action-filled, um, we are together because the moment calls for it type of experience. So, if you're bored by other actual plays and you've been sitting there and just like watching them, exposition back and forth amongst friends, that's fine and good. We're gonna give you the key. The key
Yes.
will be there. But the action, if you're a fan of like X-Men 97 or
Mm.
Castlevania Nocturne, we want to make sure that we let you guys see um, Black people with powers being Black and powerful.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And the power system is something that is very interesting in this Marvel game that we're playing, this Marvel role playing game. And I don't know anything about any of the other characters, but you did let on a little hint about some other power set that another character has. And I was like, okay, let me go out and see this movie right quick.
So
Mm.
going here, it's a callback, right? So
Hmm.
calling back, Jared just saw, as we heard him on their movie pass, Woman in the Yard, and one
Mm.
of our characters, Ether, has the ability to turn into shadows just like Woman in the Yard, and that shadow can affect things in the real world. And I'm so excited because the actor, the screen or the role play actor who's going to be playing this character, this is one of their first tabletop experiences as well. So
Oh.
we get that like new, Pride of the X-Men, like when you have or
Hmm.
Jubilee, like you always have that character who's kind of new to it. And I'm
Hmm.
really
Hmm.
excited because I think when viewers get to see somebody enjoying tabletop role playing for the first time, it's a call in instead of a call out. It's an invite to come and join us and be like, look, if this person can do it without a whole lot of experience, then so can you. And honey, Woman in the Yard has me so spooked about like people talk about being scared of your own shadow. I'm scared of like every shadow when I think about this character and what that they can do and how they can manipulate the world. And it just really speaks to the diversity of this like power system. Like this character is one of those like blew my mind concepts that is possible in Marvel Multiverse role playing game that
Mm.
I guess you could, there's always ways you can like finagle it in other systems, but in this system, it just kind of comes to life in a very unique and fun way. So I'm excited for players to see in the way that they're going to work with a team. Like it's
Yeah.
one thing to look at your character and how they're going to work for themselves and like what their abilities can do, to save or to help or to fight, but the dynamics of our team, I as the producer, I have like a little bit more insight. Like we've got hand-to-hand combat, we've got range, we've got I we have everything that you kind of would expect a team to have, except all in a really fun and nuanced way. And honestly, it's very black because just like Woman in the Yard is a very black film, the Shadow Man or like the person who can control shadows is a very long existing part of like black and African and Yoruba lore.
Hmm.
I'm really excited to like explore how those concepts of black storytelling have gone from immemorial to today.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Is the game system like D&D where you have like 6 or 7 dice or something like that, or?
It is a 3d6 system, so you only need 3 dice. They
Oh,
do recommend having one dice of a different color.
Hmm.
And the way that it works is you only have to really do one dice roll per action,
okay.
um, because the other colored die is called your marble die. And if you get a one on that die, it's actually a fantastic, which counts as a six. So the best roll that you can get in this system is a 616. Marvel heads know that.
Ooh.
If you roll a six, a one, and a six, that middle die becomes a six. So that is like a total of 24.
Mhm.
But you also get a fantastic success. It's an ultimate fantastic success. So that's like rolling your natural 20, where boom, you do big,
Right.
like something big is gonna happen. It's big and exciting. But also because of the system where you kind of can do all of the math off of one roll. It lends itself to a little bit faster pace and a little bit less
Hmm.
like addition math. Like there's still
Hmm.
multiplication and a little bit of addition, but by doing it in one roll, you're like, boom, work didn't work. Here's the damage. Next
Hmm.
turn. It's fast paced. It is action based. It is everything you could hope for a superhero game. So, and the most recent expansion was the Spider-Verse expansion, which really did a great job at expanding the
Hmm.
social rules and like having
Hmm.
um a sidekick or a Aunt May
Oh.
character, as you said earlier, Jared, somebody who you have to go and check on. And, with great power does come great responsibility. And keeping up with those responsibilities is important in this game. So we will see how each of our individual responsibilities and group responsibilities comes together in this campaign.
Yeah.
And
And also, I don't know how it's going to. I'm so excited for this game. I don't know how it's going to translate to our game, but there are so many vehicles in the game too, like
Hmm.
Blackbird. There were Hydra vehicles, a Shield helicarrier. There were all these different iconic Marvel vehicles. I think they're like Wolverine's motorcycle was in there. So I am very excited to see what we can do with that sort of stuff. And yeah,
I I have okay, so one of the things as a producer is like when it comes to getting art assets done, when it comes to sound effects, when it comes to visual effects that we're going to be using on the game board, it's my job to try to really bring as much of this to life as possible. So as we're in our storytelling, we have like different senses that we can draw on, visual senses, audio senses, etc. And so I do have a privy to some of those things. I will say that vehicles are they are expected to be expanded on in the upcoming Avengers expansion, which is going to be releasing in September, I believe.
Mhm.
But we will be they first in the X-Men expansion, which came out at the end of last year. They gave a few rules on it, and we will be exploring some of that for our characters as well. So,
Okay, exciting,
I
exciting.
mean, if you can fly, but no. Getting around in a universe is always a huge part of the storytelling. Some people really love that. Uh, what do you call it? Caravan. Where you're going from place A to place B. Like, what
Mhm.
happens? Who do you meet? And so in this game, I'm not the game master. I am a lowly player who just
Hmm.
happens to have a little bit more insight than others because of my producer hat that I wear. But um, yeah, we will be exploring. I mean, I don't think that there is a single part of the system that we are not going to be exploring. Our GM has really taken it upon themselves to get to know the system. They've done some work on their Twitch channel, which you can go look at where they explore the system, give some pitfalls of things that they didn't really like love about the system. Like, no, nothing's perfect, but
Yep.
also the people at Marvel Multiverse role playing game, Matt Forbeck, who is the main writer, has been so communicative with the community. There's actually another
Mm.
Discord that he actually interacts on pretty regularly. And if there's anything in the Marvel universe that exists, it has probably been brought up there. They released new power sets. The Spider-Verse expanded on what you can do with webbing.
Mm.
There's a new system called stunts that I hope that we get to use, where you can use your powers in unique and special ways.
Okay.
And how you learn those level product progression has changed since launch. There's this system called Getting Schooled, which we're going to be using. So there's just like a lot. And like I'm excited because for people who've either never played a TTRPG or are just Marvel fans or are just tabletop fans, you'll be able to see a really robust system with extremely melanated, beautiful, powerful characters that I hope everybody gets to know and love.
Yeah, me too. I hope everybody loves my character the best.
I'm sure everyone at BGE will, for sure.
Yes,
Yes.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Obviously.
Obviously, obviously. Okay, Jay, now's the time where we ask you our 17 quick fire questions. So every time somebody comes on our podcast for the first time, we ask them some questions based off of, our past episodes, this interview, and
Mhm.
some other things. So are you ready for the quick fire? Oh, and with this quick fire, you can answer with a yes or no. But we always want you to delve deeper into your.
You want more
Um...
disposition from me?
Mm.
Okay, so are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, so what superpower would you have if you could have superpowers?
Alert. So my character has a superpower I would have. They are a puppeteer. They, with their
Mm.
touch, they can control your nervous system. And I suffer from anxiety. I have always had a true love of neuroscience, and being able to take that knowledge from knowledge science to applied science has always fascinated me. So being able to affect someone's nervous system just with a touch, and also be able to
Mm.
calm my own frantic mind.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So they can use
Okay.
their power on themselves too.
Okay.
Just kind of like that mind body balance, like that mind body connection. Some people are great with it. I do gymnastics, I dance, I do all of these things that have like a great connection of mind and body, but I also have a very chaotic mind. So
Mm.
being
Mm-mm.
able to control that, or like put some guardrails, maybe, I don't know, on
Yeah.
that without, medications and drugs would be amazing.
Yeah. Okay. So whose side are you on? Professor X or Magneto?
Magneto.
Hmm.
100. Magneto was right.
That's the right
Um,
answer.
I think Charles, it would really suck being the most powerful telepath on the planet and hiding it. I think there's such something there about the queer allegory where like I am the biggest flamer in the world, and I can see in everyone else, I can see queerdom and like this level of queerdom, but they can't see mine. If you could see into the minds of everyone and constantly be bombarded with thoughts of both positive, negative, base, and surface thoughts, I mean, Charles has it hard. Like
Yeah.
he doesn't do the best with it, but honestly, he's the first, and I'm not gonna hate on Charles,
Mm,
but Magneto was right. Like
Mm,
when it comes to the mutant struggle of acceptance and trying to be accepted for being exceptional, no. Like
Hmm.
I don't need acceptance. I need I need liberation.
hmm.
I don't do reform. I do liberation.
Yeah. And I am going to hate on Charles and say that you were right. Magneto was right. Okay. Who is your favorite Black playable character in a video game?
Morales Spider-Man 2.
Ooh,
Mm,
100%.
yes.
that's a
It's
good
been
one.
so fun to play. Like I- okay, yes, I played regular Spider-Mans and all the other ones. Like, it's just
Hmm.
basically like a Arkham reskin. But being able to do it as Miles Morales just like brought so much joy to my little face and my like it's just and I get to do it with my nephew, who is
Oh,
the biggest Spider-Man fan. And anytime we get to play video games together, he's like, but like being able to do it as Miles Morales just took it to a whole nother level.
yeah. Okay. What is your favorite class to play in Dungeons and Dragons?
Favorite class to play? I'm gonna be boring and say a ranger.
Mm.
It's only because like I feel powerful in being able to hit a mark from like 100 feet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's something to that being able to like just zone in and you know who doesn't love the idea of being able to like do badass stuff with a bow and arrow or a crossbow? Like come
And
on.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
not for the pets, not for like to have a wolf next to you.
I it's funny because you brought up the summoner character on Nocturne on Castlevania Nocturne, and
Mhm.
I've never enjoyed anything about because like maybe it's because of their first question. I'm a little bit of a control freak, but like having
Mhm.
another familiar that is um a responsibility and something else for me to take care of, and also like I want to contain my power within myself, and if we could, it's funny because in D&D, like obviously there's so many benefits to having one, but
Right.
if I could create, the perfect ranger, they would just be, you know, high with some super badass magic arrows.
Nice.
Mm, okay. Okay. What would you rather be, a werewolf or a vampire?
So the allegory of vampires always tends to, in my mind, go back to old money, and which in America is old white money, because like we're
Mm-hmm.
talking about a type of person that has lived for generations, which to me represents intergenerational wealth, and has power that only comes out at night and in the darkness, and they get to hide who they are. So I don't like vampires. Like I really don't like vampires. The ally like Blade is one of my favorite characters because it's one of those few characters who's like I see the power system as it is, and I can actually fight against it.
Mhm.
And when they made Miles Morales into a vampire, I was so upset.
Me too.
So a
Me
hundred
too.
percent, 100%, I would choose to be a werewolf. Also because I believe that death is so natural. It is a part of life. I want
Mhm.
my body to go back into the earth. I don't want to be, no, don't get me wrong. Like if I could be like digitally saved, like and
Mm-hmm.
there could be a digital
Oh,
version of me that my like ancestors could come and talk to, or like
Mhm.
an astral plane that they could talk to me on. Yeah, 100%. But I don't want to live on this plane forever. No,
Yeah.
this plane I need to die.
yeah.
Fair
Okay.
enough.
Okay. Which do you prefer, Star Trek or Star Wars?
I am such a sci-fi nerd. I'm not a sci-fantasy nerd.
Mhm.
Because I don't know if anybody's read Hickman's Gods, the powers that be versus
Mm-hmm.
the wait, the powers that be versus
What
science
was
versus
it?
magic. I choose
Yeah.
science every time.
Yeah.
I love Star Trek, by the way. I don't know, and for fans of BGE, if you have not seen Star Trek Discovery seasons 1 through 4 at the
Yep.
very
Yep.
least, got to. I will say another exclusive. I didn't purposefully, but very unconsciously created my character, and they give a lot of evil Burnham energy. Not
Evil.
Captain Burnham, but like Mutineer Burnham.
Okay.
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 Okay. Okay. Okay.
All right. All right.
All right. So, was Avatar Korra a good avatar?
Absolutely.
Oh,
Amazing
really?
avatar.
Okay.
Because she dealt with the spiritual realm in a way that Aang didn't get to. And I love Kiyoshi,
Hmm.
um,
Kiyoshi.
a lot. But even she is, all the other avatars were very warlike or had to deal with conflict in resolution where conflict had to have violence. And I think that Korra was one of the first people to be like, okay, violence is necessary, but healing the spirit is honestly the only way to get to the core of some of these issues. So I loved
Hmm.
that about what they did with Korra.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. That's it took her a while to get there though.
Seasons, couple seasons.
Yeah.
From the Avatar first. Like I like the fact that just like in Discovery, you have to make your way to the captain's chair. Like I don't always love that women are forced to earn it in media, but when they do, nobody can say that they didn't earn it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair. Yeah.
So who are your favorite anime characters to ship?
Ooh, I was just having a conversation with one of our other players that, oh my God, you're gonna be so mad. I don't like anime. It's just not an art form of animation that I love.
Oh
I
no.
know. So I have a few that I am a huge Miyazaki fan. I think that what he
Yeah.
does to the medium is amazing. I've seen Appleseed is one of my favorite anime
Okay.
films. Um I because of my friend Rufio, I'm watching this show Lazarus that just came out on HBO, which is
Yes,
by the guy who
yes.
did
Okay.
so I mean there's something that I don't get about the Eastern animation style,
Hmm.
especially when it comes to emotions, like the big eyes that are crying. Like
Mm.
I know that they are all tropes, but they're not tropes that I enjoy. So,
Yeah.
what is my favorite anime characters to ship? Hmm, I can't think of any because honestly, the one of the biggest things that I don't like about anime is the way that anime approaches romance. It always
Mm.
feels inauthentic to me.
Yeah.
Good. All right. Fair enough.
Okay.
It's very romancy, but it's I
Good.
Okay.
sorry.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
a
Okay.
funny thing about you were saying like you don't like the way like the animation like the way it sounded like you were saying like you don't like the way the characters are presented. I read this article that anime characters are not people; they're actually cats, and they just like yeah, right, right, and it did like this
Because
comparison of like oh here's how a cat face looks, here's how our anime character's face look like big eyes, little mouths, like button noses, that kind of thing.
Okay.
astute observation. I definitely want that article. Please
Okay.
send a link. But no, I mean there's just something that is amazing for the art of storytelling, right? Like if
Hmm.
you're telling a
Hmm.
story, I remember in college people introduced me to like boy love anime,
Mm.
which was, eye-opening. And I was like, oh my gosh, there are like gay characters that are being celebrated in animation and in the books. I don't know what they're called, but uh even still I was like even though it's refreshing, it doesn't feel authentically human. It's a
Mm.
story being told, not a person's experiences being told. That was my biggest drawback.
Okay.
Gotcha. Mm.
Okay. All right. So, if you could be any class in D&D in the real world, but in secret, what class would you be?
Mm.
Hmm. I don't do a lot of things in secret.
Stop trying to put him in a
Um,
closet, Jared.
right? But I've got to give my love to Neo Soul Gods, Night Skins. But I would choose a different zodiac than my zodiac. I would probably choose the Gemini Night Skin, because they have the ability to create a double of themselves, which is kind
Mm,
of the power you were talking earlier. I I always want to live both lives. I always want to live both choices of
Mm.
my experiences. So I would love to be able to just like duplicate myself, have that one go that way, this one go this way, come back in the middle and find out which decision I should have made. So
okay.
secretly. Like if I had to keep it a secret, like those are the secrets I would like. One of me would be super militant and the other one would be super political. And I know
Okay.
that the two cannot be they both can't be known.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, all right, all right. Um, Aliens have come to Earth, and it's your job to make them love movies with only one movie. What movie do you pick?
My job to make aliens love movies. Hmm. You know, there's a movie that comes to mind, and I don't know why it came to mind when you asked this question. Sanaa Lathan and Simon Baker in Something New.
Hmm.
Mm,
It is about an interracial relationship. It's got Alfred Woodard. I don't know
okay.
if anyone knows this film. It is. I feel like I should have picked something geeky, but like it was the first thing that came to mind. Um,
No, that's
and
fine.
it's funny because uh, well, I won't. It, to me, when I think about an alien coming to Earth, the first thing I want them to understand is empathy for differences.
Hmm.
And on Earth, I think the greatest display of difference that we have created amongst ourselves as humans is race. So
Mm-hmm.
I would want to show them a vision of interracial relationships so that they could understand human alien relationships. Because
Hmm.
obviously, if aliens came to Earth, they're obviously much more technologically advanced than we are.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to be preaching coexistence and like, let's get along to get along
Yeah,
Right.
because if they choose extinction, they have the technology and we don't.
true, true. Okay, what is your favorite adult cartoon?
Now it's this cartoon on HBO called Common Side Effect.
Yes,
Mm. I've heard of it.
yes.
I
Yes.
just love. Uh, okay, so like, I don't know if you guys know, but like in the late 2010s, there was this really big push for animation to kind of like branch out,
Hmm.
not just be about action, not just be about like funny things that you see on Saturday evenings on Fox, but like there were shows like Fired from Mars, there were a lot of shorts,
Hmm.
but they were like just like out of the box thinking, but things that you couldn't film, but you had to like, find ways animation was a great way to show them. And I think that that one and there's another one about exploration. Somebody help me with it. It's also on HBO. But there, you know what it is,
Scavenger's Reign.
Demarcus?
Yeah,
Yes,
Scavenger's Reign.
Scavenger's
Yes.
Reign.
Hmm.
Yes. I just love that the animation, especially Western animation, not again, because I don't love anime. Um, I love that animation is ready to explore deeper themes of science fiction that I think are really relevant and almost impossible to shoot. My producer's brain is like, how would I shoot that in live action? And it's like,
Hmm.
nah, I'm not going to show constant scenes of people dying. I just don't think that audiences would enjoy seeing that in
Right.
any kind of version of live action. But in animation, they can do it in ways that show it but don't show it. Like
Yeah.
I think that, and the story they're telling is something that's very prescient to where we are in 2025, talking about our healthcare system and what would really
Hmm.
happen. What would the wars look like if we had a ultimate solution to drug and health and wellness. So
Yeah.
I'm loving that show. So if you haven't watched it, BGE fans, please go check it out.
Yeah. And Scavenger's Ring and Common Side Effects is the same studio. So
Hey,
yeah.
see?
Yeah.
They're,
Okay.
they're doing. I need to go check out that studio. They're doing good things.
Yeah. Yeah. What is your favorite video game song?
Sonic R. Do you guys remember Sonic
Ooh.
Racing?
Yes.
Everybody supersonic racing. Gotta
Okay.
get my feet back on the ground. Everybody, girl, I can listen to that. Okay. That is honestly like my workout soundtrack. I'll put on the entire Sonic R soundtrack and I don't I don't care how old or like whatever I feel, the Sonic R soundtrack is like
Okay.
peak, peak. Kurt Grant Hope and his Nintendo work were also amazing. If anybody like knows Banjo-Kazooie and all those kind of
Oh
games. Actually,
yes.
Hex Heroes, the game that I was an EP executive producer on,
Hmm.
they actually hired Kurt Grant Hope to do the music for their game. So
Oh.
Mm.
again, the game hasn't come out because of all the reasons, but Kirk's work on the project was still amazing. Kirk Grant Hope is one of the best video game producers, music producers that exist. But and while giving him an amazing shout out because he did amazing work for us, Super Sonic or Sonic R. If anybody, I'm like the biggest proponent of this soundtrack. It's incredible,
Yeah.
especially like
Okay.
little like queer me as a little kid. It's just like getting my life.
Yeah, Sonic has one of my favorite theme songs with the Miles song from Sonic Adventures. The I'm gonna fly high. I'm not a singer like JayBezz is, so don't come at me in the comments. Okay. Who is your favorite black superhero?
Ooh, favorite black. Okay, so if anybody read the Emma Frost series, there was a black woman there whose name is escaping me. Help me. Um, oh Lord. Astrid Bloom? Am I?
I do
If
not
I'm
know.
wrong, y'all are gonna correct me in all the comments. But I think her name was Astrid Bloom. She is a black telepath that was in the Emma Frost series. I have been begging for her to come back uh, for a while. I love the idea of a black telepath because as black folk, we often have preconceived notions of what people are thinking,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that especially a black woman telepath would be even if they didn't have the outright power levels of amazingness, just the insight they would have uh, would allow them to do things, I think, with telepathy that most of the telepaths that we see don't have. There's
Yeah.
also a character named Third Eye, but I think he was more of an empath than a telepath, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
But Astrid Bloom, I think, again, a black woman telepath. I want to read that story. I want to read what it's like to be a black woman who can read and even affect other people's minds.
Are there any black telepaths?
Astrid Bloom, Third Eye. Um,
That's weird.
Marvel. Are the well, I guess Martian Manhunter. Well, he's a Martian, but he's very black
Yeah.
coded.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, is that it?
That's crazy.
Right? But I mean, I think there's a reason for that. I think that having a black person being able to read other people's minds, especially in a major like comic book, would be political.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think comics are like shying away from a lot of political content right now. But there's no way for that not to be,
Yeah.
Yeah.
political. So
Yeah.
Astrid, I think I'm getting her name wrong, y'all. I keep saying it. Like, please, like,
No, I just looked
forgive
it
and
up.
give the
It's
realness.
Astrid Bloom. So you got it
Yep.
right.
You had it right.
Hmm.
Me.
Okay.
But yeah, Black woman telepath, I need to know that story. I need to, and especially since she was kind of a foil during Emma's college years, but that was before Emma started calling herself the White Queen, which obviously, as people of color, a lot of people have been like, girl.
No.
But Emma leaned into her whiteness very, very much as in the Hellfire Club, and I want to know what that experience and seeing Emma become this big mutant on Krakoa, this teacher who I think is altruistic. She is a teacher. She wants to help people,
Hmm.
but she, you know, I think that Ebel Ewing explored it a little bit in Exceptional X-Men. She's like, did she just call herself the White Queen?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Mhm.
character, the character Bronze,
Hmm.
is a black girl learning to use her powers. And she's like, am I supposed to really take lessons from this woman who's calling herself the White Queen?
Right.
And a black telepath who has had to face and honestly taught Emma a lot of the tips and tricks of telepathy. I
Hmm.
don't know what's going on with that woman. I need her story.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And I looked her up and she is very beautiful. So I need to go back and read her that story. Okay. Two more questions. Who is, speaking of Martian Manhunter, who is your favorite black character who is not black?
See?
Goofy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Goofy is
Happy
black.
30th anniversary, a Goofy movie. Anybody
Hmm.
who saw that Atlanta episode, y'all
Of
know what I'm
course.
talking
No.
about. Like, and it's so funny to me because I think Disney Plus just came out with a true documentary
Hmm.
of like a Goofy movie, but I, I'm not even watching that. Like, I tried to watch and I was like, nah, I prefer the Atlanta version. When my kids grow up, they're going to watch that episode of Atlanta, and we are taking it
Hmm.
as fact, baby, because
Yes.
Goofy, yes, Goofy was black. Yeah.
Okay. And finally, who is your favorite rapper turned actor?
Mm.
Rapper, specifically rapper.
It could be a singer too. We've had
No, it
both.
can be. Yeah.
Lauren Hill, but I kind of feel like she was a actor turned rapper more.
Hmm.
That was a different transition. Hmm. It's got to be Tupac from Poetic
Oh,
Justice.
Oh,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah. He was
Yeah,
great in all his movies. Like,
yeah.
yeah. I seeing, you know, so I grew up at, I was born in Kansas City. I grew
hmm
up in Iowa. I was in a lot of very predominantly white spaces, and in the 90s, a lot, not to age myself, ooh, girl, a lot of the visions that we saw of blackness weren't kind. It was always the thug. It was always,
yeah.
yeah, yada, yada, yada. But Tupac's Poetic Justice really just made me fall in love with rap music because
hmm
of his characterization. And it was Pac. Like it was this person who was able to speak to the Black experience from a, Oakland Bay Area type of vibe that I just there's such a liberation theology that comes from Oakland that I was not exposed to as a
hmm
kid. And after Poetic Justice, I was obsessed. Obsessed. Girl, I still am. Like, if Pac were alive, I would be such a stan. I would be such a like, because he's fine, he's smart, he
Yep.
raps, he's artistic, just everything that I could hope for in a revolutionary.
And he
And
loved the gays, or so
hmm
I hear.
well, now I will say this: his legacy definitely loves the gays,
Okay.
and the thing about liberation, you may be thinking that your liberation is only for one type of person, but
Hmm.
nobody's free until we're all free. If
Yeah.
you're fighting for Black liberation, it does help queer liberation. If you're fighting for women's liberation, it does help Black liberation. Like there is intersectionality in every liberation movement that is successful. And in the 90s, when I was a young, very obviously queer person, it was very hard to imagine that these same people who were fighting, um, I remember the Watch riots, the same people who were like, we ain't gonna do this after like OJ and all that. It was like we had moments where people were fighting for Black liberation, and I didn't envision that it was going to include me. But
mm
Mm.
obviously, look at the legacy now. Assad Shakur, like there's just so much that I have learned about liberation movements from Tupac and
mm
his writings, his music, etc. So yeah, that's absolutely my favorite.
Okay. Dope.
Okay. Wow.
I love that all your answers were like so deep and so holistic. Like you
Me
had
too.
reasoning behind them. Yeah. Because they're quick fire. So what we expect is you just be like, vampire, werewolf, werewolf, and we move on.
Girl, I'm gonna speak extemporaneously. I'm sorry about it, y'all, but I'm gonna
Nah,
speak. But
it's
no, thank
good.
you
We
guys
love it.
so much.
Love it.
I've had so much fun. You guys didn't tell me how fun the podcast is. Okay, yeah.
It is fun. And we really would like to thank you for taking the time out of your day because you are a multi hyphenate can't be spending no time with us
Mhm.
down to the podcast like this. So thank you for spending the time and just talking about your previous works, talking about your future works, which I am so excited for and really just bringing your thoughtful insights to Black Geek Energy.
Yes, absolutely. We
Yeah.
love to have geeks on the show, um, especially when they're doing big things, big amazing things like you are. It's good to see. I think it's good for people to see that like you can be a geek and into all of these like comics and cartoons and stuff, and it doesn't rot your brain. It makes you more creative.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for having me. Congratulations again on 100 episodes. Do you guys like viewers, do you understand how like iconic that is? Come through.
Thank you, thank
That
you,
is a
thank
Thank
you.
you, thank you.
round of
Thank you,
applause.
thank you, thank you.
You guys have been holding it down for people like me who are very black and very geek and who have wanted to have conversations about these things because, again, it's art. It's important that we expound on how it affected us and how and what it means to us. So thank you guys for holding it down. I'm hoping for 100 more. I heard on the 100 you're like, oh, maybe another 100, maybe 2 years. 2 years is nothing, honey. That's
That
not
was
even getting us
him.
to the midterms. We need you. So please continue doing what you're doing. You're doing an amazing work.
Oh,
And I
thank
have
you.
been a true fan for at least the last 50 episodes. So
Oh,
please continue doing what you're doing because I see growth for you. And let together. House of Bezz
of
is always trying to
course.
put on beautiful black voices in this space. So uh I hope this is the last that we get to work. Well, I know it's not going to be for me and Jared,
Yeah.
but Demarcus, you're especially another Cali person. And um I'll tell you a little bit more offline, but I've got connections to the music industry as well. So if you're looking for more of those Coachella and concert tickets, you let me know.
Okay,
Oh
all right.
no.
I will.
Don't tell
Maybe we'll do
DeMarcus
some
that.
like exclusive content from some venues if you guys are into it. So yeah.
Okay, don't tell DeMarcus that.
What you mean?
Uh,
He
Um
offered.
it's a real offer. It is a real offer.
well, that's nice.
Thank you. Thank you. Definitely
Okay.
get you. We'll be in touch.
You can email your questions to blackgeekenergy@gmail.com. You can follow us on social media: Instagram, Blue Sky, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Threads, and of course, Spell is Black Geek Energy. And Demarcus, are you also aware that we have a Patreon?
I am, Jared. Do you know it's 10 cents a day?
Yeah, that's $3 a month, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Easy.
$3 a month. And you can hear these insider conversations like
Mhm.
how you feel about Girl Scout cookies
Oh,
and the
be
Girl
happy.
Scout industrial complex. So yeah, yeah. Subscribe to the Instagram, not the Instagram, subscribe to the Patreon to find more insider information. Jay, this was an amazing, amazing conversation. Thank you again for being on. And we have to have you back once we film a couple of episodes. We got to come back
Mhm.
on BGE. Maybe we can have the full cast. Everybody come on here and then do a, a little sit down fireside chat of how we are all enjoying it and where we think our character is going to go in the future.
Absolutely welcome the opportunity. We'll talk again.
Okay, and that's it. That's the whole show.
All right. BGE out.